Hi guys, it is Canada Day today. Happy Canada Day. I kind of like holidays because it feels like you get a bonus day. You know what I mean? This week is an exciting week. It is the week of proposals, which is very exciting. And I'm going to be sending out 3 proposals this week, and I would say they're like 90% in the niche, all 3 of them, which is great. Sugar oat shaken espresso with half the sweetener. It's so good. It's literally my favorite. This week, I also wanted to do something a little bit different because I feel like I get this question all the time, which is, Jen, love what you're doing. Everything looks really great, but like, I don't really understand what it is that you do. What do you do? And I feel like that should be very clear. So I will show you. Firm believer in showing versus telling with anything. So yeah, I will definitely try to show you. I'm going to use a real life example of some work that I did about a month ago. I think that's the best way for me to show you what I do, how I do it, and what it looks like, as well as sort of just like my general designing style with Studio 8. And I do another loom because I feel like that works pretty well the first time. So yeah, week of proposals. I will show you a sample project and of course update you on our sniper progress as we go along. So yeah, thank you for being here. If you have been watching these videos, because I know it's a small group of you, so if you have been watching these videos since the beginning, you are a real one. Thank you so much for being here, and let's see what this week brings. Okay, so what you're gonna see here is a tallow skincare client that came to Studio 8 looking for some support, helping to build up his brand and set the foundation. His business has been running for about 2 years now. The tallow skincare market has been rising in popularity, so it was the perfect time for us to really sit down, jump in, support, and help him find ways that he can differentiate in a pretty competitive, growing market. I'm going to show you how we approach this, the different phases that were included in our project. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start, and again, I'm sorry that I can't get my little loom face on these. What I've done here is I have pulled out the service offering slides from our initial pitch presentation deck. I wanted to just root ourselves here first so I can show you what a client would see for the first time, and then I can show you the application side of that with Noble Tallow. I always like to start at the heart of a brand. If a brand does not have a clear set of brand guidelines or a strong foundation to build off of, I always begin by recommending a branding project. Branding projects can be small or large in scope. They can mean different things to different people, but how I like to root ourselves is a branding project will help us carve out what your unique blueprint is for your brand. It shapes how people perceive you, how they recognize you, and how they connect with you. So I always try to stress the importance of branding projects. A brand project could be any or all of the above. With Studio 8, we can help with carving out the initial strategy, doing research, doing a competitive analysis and audit, obviously with the design side as well. So if they kind of want to refine their approach to visual aspects. Now, for Noble Tallow, for example, meeting with the client, showing him some of this work, some of the offerings that we could do, he was like, yes, let's do it. He was totally on board. So yeah, this was a great opportunity for us to carve out a big deck. Now, this is a big project. This is not a small project. This is a very big project. You can see here the slide deck is 75 pages. Like, it is not a small pursuit to do a branding project. It does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of effort to really get it done correctly. So yeah, I just want to start off by saying that. I do like to break it up into 2 parts. So you can see here I have part 1 and part 2. I feel like the more interesting side of this is taking you through some of the visual choices that were made. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the strategic setup, but I will definitely try to explain some of the design choices that were made. But you can see here we're about 35 pages into the deck. So everything leading up to this point was all of the research, the auditing, helping them define their unique identity, kind of like all the background and research behind the brand, putting that on paper so that it's crystal clear as we move into the visual and verbal side of it. So in terms of the visual strategy, we're really going for like a bold heritage inspired palette. Some of the inspiration that we had for this brand, it feels earthy and organic, but it still has that nice premium feeling and flow to it. gravitating towards this direction right from the jump. It feels raw, natural, but still handcrafted and pure. Previously, which I'll show you in a second, the brand was pretty much black and white. And here you can see a quick mock-up of some of the colors that were selected for this brand, as well as how we've laid that out in Figma through to visuals there. We were really liking this like pattern as well with the cowboys, give the brand a little bit of character. And yeah, you can see how the palette was inspired by nature, jumps into those like earthy organic colors. And again, it pairs quite well with the packaging. We have here how the colors work in unison together, again, with the primary colors kind of sticking to that contrast, dominant colors that are used to maintain that premium feeling while still having a strike of that freshness with the purple as well as the green to again communicate that simple natural feel. Fonts, because again it's no BS, straight to the point skincare, that bold Arial black paired with a serif font for a little bit of simplicity. It also feels kind of like old textbooky. And then how the fonts pair together. Their logo was great. We didn't have to do a ton. Okay, one interesting part of this project, which I want to go into a little bit more detail of, because this is something that we do at Studio 8 that sets us apart, is our use of AI in terms of content creation. Now, when I say AI and content creation, a lot of the time people look at me like I have two heads because they picture scrolling social media and seeing the UFO emerging from the water behind the news reporter. Like, it's just like this crazy visual of AI and content. But this is absolutely not what I'm referring to when I talk about AI and 4K custom content being created at the touch of your fingertips. This is a perfect example for me to show you this with a real life brand because we did this for this brand. Using specific AI tools, what we can do is create a custom bank of stock images. Where can we use these? Social media, website, paid ads, extracting color Pantones, inspiration, and again, it's an excellent folder of stock imagery. These tools versus something like Adobe Stock, it's like 1,000 to 1, extremely powerful. This is kind of what I'm referring to here. So in order to create images like this, you have to have a vision, you have to have a sense of art direction, creative direction being put on these. Otherwise, it's going to come out wonky, and I promise you that. We leveraged a couple of these visuals across the website when we were designing it, and honestly, it just completely changes the game. Like, they are beautiful, beautiful. The macro textures, the detail, the resolution on these. This is what I'm saying when I'm referring to AI content and being able to custom curate images based on what you're looking for in terms of texture, lighting, effects that are being put onto these images. It's very powerful. Even these patterns were created with AI. And then you can see here how they would actually then go and be applied, for example, on a customer testimonial. Okay, so once we finished the branding project and we had the foundation set, we moved into phase 2, which was doing some of the more executional and design stuff. This client wanted to update his product packaging. So I will show you quickly the before. This is what I was referencing a little bit earlier with the black and white, no BS. We wanted to kind of pull some of that into the new packaging, but still give the packaging a little bit more personality. So I will show you the after. Here we are. So this was the new packaging that we created for this client. Here we've done a pretty effective job at separating different product lines. Here the lavender has that nice pop of fresh purple. We have Sun and Bug, which leans into that pretty light yellow. So yeah, and then these images as well, we created for them, again, building up their bank to use across website, social media. Before we did this part of the project, one of our goals was to create unison across their product images on the website. It is a huge lift in terms of visuals for a brand when they have a strong, cohesive presence across their product photography. So we did this obviously as a collective with some of these more like artistic images like this, built up a folder for them, product family shots as well. You can see here how the packaging pair really nicely with some of the images that we generated with AI. It just feels clean, simple, premium, but still rooted and interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not boring. I don't like when things are designed premiumly, but they feel boring, like they lack personality, because that's not this brand. So we designed the actual packaging itself, and then we also created these digital versions of the products. So yeah, we did that across all. Okay, now the little circle is back, so hello. I will also show you phase 3. which was our UGC content shoot. These were the reels that were created, so high converting reels that can be used across Instagram, Facebook, other placements, paid ads. So yep, that was a key phase to help create some content. We also created a hero video for the website. Okay, finally, once we had done our brand strategy, built up the entire bank of assets from digital products to UGC content to those creative high-res visuals that we had of each of the jars, what we then went and did was a full website scope. We did website and SEO, both of them. So again, with the website design, we focused on the overall UI UX, making sure that everything looks beautiful, pieces together, but we also needed to ensure that it was functioning and that we could help this client start to rank for more keywords. So I will show you quickly the state of the website before and the new website, which has launched and is up and running, which is very exciting. So this was the state of the website before we went in and did our full redesign project. As you can see, it's pretty simple, straightforward, gets to the main point. These visuals actually were updated with our scope. They're linked still directly to Shopify. So anyway, there were different images here. These are from our new stuff. So yeah, pretty straightforward, simple. And here is our new site, which again is live, ready to go. So this took about 6 weeks, I would say, to fully pull together. We have this dynamic hero banner. This content was also shot with our UGC scope. Macro textures, key messaging is up there as well. We shifted the product tiles up. You saw on the previous site, they were a little bit buried down on the homepage. We have all the different collections listed out here. Again, pulling from those images that were generated with our scopes, looking like super clean. This is leads to the about section here. Why choose Tallo, the benefits. This is also a great tile for SEO. And then Tallo Technology, this was a new piece that we added to the website. We found one of the biggest gaps with the competitive analysis, the competitive research, was that everybody was talking about tallow the same. It's non-toxic, it's organic, it's better for your skin. There was a lack of information on what tallow actually does for your skin, how it works, or the science behind it. So this is where this whole Tallo Technology, sorry, I'll just show you the rest of the homepage first. Looks good, reviews. So yeah, this is where the whole Tallo Technology page came into play, which was built with the purpose of educating on the real science behind tallow brands and tallow skincare. We also created some constructs for this brand with their actual process because it is leading, it is superior. So we named it our triple purification process as well as their noble ancestral lipid blend. So yeah, created some new naming conventions for their actual technology and their process, which was super cool. Educated a little bit more again on what's inside their product blend and why it's effective, as well as some common concerns and why tallow comes in as a non-toxic superhero. So what it actually does and what it alleviates. Yep, and then just some more common questions and answers. This, I think, honestly was one of my favorite pages because it feels very hard-hitting and it creates a good informational differentiation. So yeah, we did all of their pages, free design on those, including the product tiles, which now flow together from a UX, UI standpoint a lot more smoothly. Previously, it was a little difficult to delineate between products and product lines, but we now have it all nice and crystal clear. We also just reorganized everything. And then again, what I was mentioning with the SEO. So we did a full SEO scope, the entire site, all of the metadata, the alt images, product SEO. It was a huge SEO scope. SEO does take time to recalibrate. Google needs to reindex basically every single page on the site. So to start seeing results with SEO, it is a longer term play, but some early signs of good SEO are keywords beginning to rank. Your site visibility begins to slowly improve as Google has reindexed your page, and the conversion rate typically will tend to jump in the beginning phases because Google is now sending more qualified leads to the site. So yeah, we have started to see those with this brand, which is nice and exciting. And yeah, excited to just continue to see the visibility and results roll in.